checkers work and about some common errors. And whoever is in this meeting, we will restore the checkers row and the temporary checkers as well. Judges, those who are allowed to work as reviewers, we will do the person review on the checkers. And most of the task is pretty rural and it's pretty good. And we actually we'll just do 10 mode on the reviewer side, and on the 10 mode, I will adjust the density. So we will mainly focus on the urban area, the urban task. And also there are a few urban tasks that need to be finished, and I'll move them back to the filter side. Okay, so let's begin. So there are some of the common errors that I have found during the work. So some of them I want to discuss with you guys. So for the man-made, before we start, I want to give you guys another introduction. That is, we have done stage 1, which is a road, sidewalk, driveway, railway, and stage 2 is what we are working on: the pavement, parking, swimming pool, paved sports ground, etc. Number 3 is the nature project, that we will do the forest, shrub, grass, baleland, and the unpaved sports ground. All right, and unlike the one we did before, this time the nature project will be filled in the task. So for example, this task, after we done the stage 2, this task will be work on the stage 3. System will label the tree, the forest, the baleland, the shrub, the grass, and the unpaved sports ground, etc. And we need to fill everything in this task. So that is the background of the Landcover project. Then within this knowledge, then we can let's work on this checker site. So when you are on this kind of task, if you see a gap between the paved features, then you should think what the nature category will be used to fill in that part. For example, this gap is obviously the baleland, right? So in the next stage, we'll fill this part as for the baleland. And this is grass, this is forest, and this rest of them is baleland. And for this kind of gap, it will be the baleland. Within this knowledge, we will it will be easier for us to spot the errors, to spot the especially some of the gap. So for example, here we can see a gap here, but all this area is actually what is this? This is actually all paved, right? This is all paved. So in this case, this is not what we want to see in our result. So in this case, it's better to just fill in this whole area as pavement, and this will make more sense. All right, and within this knowledge, you can notice that this gap here is kind of too weird, right? So within this knowledge, we need to fill in this as sidewalk. Sorry. And this will make more sense when it comes to the final result. Okay, so we should always keep this in mind while we are working on the stage 2 Landcover project, and the rest of it looks very good. For those ambiguous cases, just accept the system result, accept the result. No need to overthink. And lastly, one more error that I have found very frequently is that some labelers that they have been used this swimming pool. I don't know why they will leave this swimming pool in here. It doesn't make any sense, right? This is obviously not swimming pool. So checkers, when you check on the task, please be careful with that. Okay, and this shape is very ugly, right? And once again, this gap doesn't make sense, right? So this should just be pavement. And for this ground here, we can see that the surface is not actually not paved. This is actually not paved, so we don't do pavement or parking for them. This is very obvious. So in this case, we should just, ignore this. All right, we should didn't do anything for this. Just label, leave this as a bare land, and it will be fine for us for next stage. And lastly, if you see some very obviously stage 1 arrow like this shape of the sidewalk doesn't make sense. This is not the result we want to be. So you can do a little bit of the editing, and this road in the middle doesn't make any sense, right? So in this case, just fix the shape and change the category to where the appropriate is. And the rest of it looks like this is just bare land, so we can ignore them. All right, so this task is done. We can submit. Let's continue. So in this one, the stage 1 result looks better, and the pavement around this building are actually pretty reasonable. However, this road at here is not connected, right? So it doesn't make much sense. In this case, it's better to fix it. And this result here, this system result labeled for the payment doesn't make sense. It's not payment. So when you work at checkers, you need to be very careful for this kind of small, tiny missed payment, like those small arrows. That is very important. I have seen many checkers is not careful enough, and there are many small pieces of payment and the small pieces of the swimming pool labeling around that is not supposed to be. All right, so in this case, whoever is working on checkers, please be more careful. And then I'll put some more tasks to check. This is a pushback task from the reviewer. So let's check the comment. So first one here, this is not a very well driveway. This is not a driveway. So in this case, this whole ground is actually, this should be marked as parking. Why? Because there are cars, there are vehicles parked wall on this. So it doesn't make sense to, because it makes more sense to be as parking. And then let's check the surrounding area. Right? This should just be part of the sidewalk. It's not supposed to be a pavement. And this gap right here, it's not making sense, right? This is supposed to be a sidewalk. It's part of the sidewalk, and this gap is not making sense. So we make sure we fill in this part. And this outside parking looks good. All right, let's check the second. Same thing, right? This is some issue because there are vehicles parked on this large paved ground very well. So in this case, what should we mark this for? It's parking, right? And this small payment, that is okay. And then we can double check this task, check around the residential building to see if there's, overshoot like this one. This is just bare land, right? It's not paved. So in this case, make sure you delete it, and this one as well. So I don't know if you guys have confusion to distinguish between the paved or not paved. So I thought it's going to be easy because the pavement should be like smooth, should be darker, and the color is very even, and it's all listed in our training document. But I still see some of our labelers or checkers are not very clear with the pavement. So if you see the ground is being brown and being uneven,